Well, hello and welcome and welcome and hello and welcome and hello. Thank you for joining me on this very special post-holiday edition of Un Poco Moss, the show where we give you just a little bit more. Guys, let's count this thing down New Year's Eve style. 3, 2, 1. Let's Poco. Guys, thank you for joining me. It is Danny Deals, your intrepid host here, trying to make sense of the market. And when it comes to this stock Nio, ticker symbol NIO, I just can't make sense of it, guys. I can't make sense of the valuation. The manipulation is as strong as any stock I've ever seen. They've basically been trading this thing. I mean, if you look at a 5-year chart, I mean, the algo has been on this thing like white on rice for, several years at the very minimum. And I would argue since this tip top here, when, basically stupid retail investors with more money than common sense get a hard on for a stock and want to push it to an absurd valuation, market makers take notice and they go, aha, we have idiots afoot, idiots with money. We can take said money from said idiots, probably feed them ranch dressing with everything they eat, give them a double wide trailer, and send them home with no supper. Anyway, guys, no, this is an opportunity. People are saying, okay, this is Chinese junk. It's not going anywhere. It's a scam. And when I look at what's actually happening on the ground in China and Africa and Europe, Nio is doing more than any other car company, with the possible exception of Tesla. BYD in there obviously doing a lot because of their massive scale. CATL now aggressively entering the battery swap market, but CATL doesn't even say how many swap stations they have, nor how many they've performed. And these 10 models that are coming out, if there's no credible battery swap network, it's all kind of a fugazi, isn't it? I mean, what does it really mean? If CATL has all these partners and they start releasing battery swap capable models and they're selling them to people with no viable battery swap network, I don't really see how that's good for advancing battery swap. I don't see how it's good for CATL. I don't really see how it's good for their partners. They're saying they're going to have 1,000 swaps by the end of 2025, 1,000 swap stations. Nio has 3,000 swap stations now. By the end of 2024. Nio has over 1,000 swap stations that'll accommodate Envo vehicles. So basically for me, the CATL system at this point is vapor. I know they're going to build it, but I think they think it's going to be easy. I think, they're looking at what Nio's accomplished. They're saying, okay, proof of concept. They've done 60, going on 70 million swaps. They have the entire country covered. And by the way, almost everyone that buys a Nio or Envo swaps regularly because, the average Nio user swapping more than 4 times per month. And they've accomplished those, 60 some million swaps with only 600 some thousand vehicles in existence ever. So the adaptation is clearly there, nearly 100% on Nio users. And everybody making fun of Firefly. I mean, Firefly is absolutely perfect for swap because it targets, that lower end of the spectrum where the people don't have dedicated parking spaces where they live, and they certainly don't have dedicated chargers. So to be able to swap out for a fresh battery in 3 minutes is going to be a game changer for getting those people to adopt electric vehicles. And that's exactly what China wants to happen. That's exactly why I think they're in the bag for Nio. I think they're going to mandate battery swap on some local levels, state levels, and it's just going to send Nio absolutely through the roof because everybody's going to have to come kiss the ring for my, my twin brother, my biological twin brother, Billy Lee, who is the CEO, of course, CEO and co-founder of Nio. Now, I know you're saying he's a thin, Chinese man. You are a fat, white hillbilly with a vivid imagination and a lack of common sense. Well, all right, you got me there. Yeah, but no, I like to imagine I'm related. Anthony Noda's my biological father. William Lee's my twin brother. Just gives me a little bit of skin in the game if I have family running these companies. No, I'm just kind of, I'm, a little bit insane. But anyway, guys, that's neither here nor there. Let's take a look at they're actually returning shares. This is very strange. It's the same thing if you watch my SoFi video earlier. The borrowing absolutely flat for these extended periods of times, very unusual. Like, so at open, they're borrowing 700,000, pumps up to 2 million, and then all of a sudden returning 6 million almost instantly. And this, you'd expect this was when the big increase was going on with the price, and it's flat all day. But for the big drop, you don't see corresponding borrowing. Now, they've borrowed so many shares, they can short without borrowing on a daily basis because there's 380 million shares on loan to only 147 million shares short. So this is the manipulation, shorting, borrowing, controlling the volume. The difference is today, volume was really bullish. What do I mean by these accumulations, even when things are red? Look at where the volume is today, guys. The only volume is in these big green candles. All the volume is in this run-up. The stock drops off a cliff from 470 to 460 on almost nothing. It's just rigging the bid and the ask. It's illegal price fixing. It happens all the time. Trades flat. You have this huge red candle here, gaps down. And then again, the volume comes up. Okay, the volume comes way, way up as the stock price goes down. Then it falls again, volume back down. I mean, it's not complicated. Look at the height of these green candles and the height of these red candles. That's really all you have to do. And then as it goes through the day here, there's like 3 green candles to every red candle as the stock moves sideways, or 2 to 1 at least. And then volume comes back in heavy at the end of the day. Look at these candles, 400,000. 300 or 400,000 again, then back up, 300,000, 300,000 red. And then the green candles start 300,000, 500,000, and then 924,000. So you are seeing heavy accumulation at these levels. Believe it or not, you were seeing accumulation at 440. You see it especially if you look at the daily charts on Hong Kong. I mean, it's a sea of green candles on a red number. It's price fixing. It's so obvious. They fix the price, they accumulate, they short, they kill calls. All the while, a stock that should be worth $15 to $20 on any logical planet is sitting here trading under $5. Now, check the price to sales. Check the price to sales. It's under 1. You're like, well, look at price to book. You have to understand CapEx. You have to understand how all their partnerships, subsidiaries work. Nio has spent a hell of a lot of money building out Swap, developing technologies, in-house, self-driving chips, AI chips. Now, they have slowed down on making their own batteries because that was just, they just weren't there yet. They just don't have the scale. But they're building it fast. And when I'm talking about CATL's battery swap being vapor at this point, for the most part, you have to remember CATL last month put 0 cars on the road swapping. It's building very few swaps. It's saying we have a few swaps in a few cities for a proof of concept. They don't even tell you what their network is. Meanwhile, they're making these grandiose claims that they're going to propel swap into the future. Well, guess what, Chuck? Nio's already doing that. Nio is years and years and years ahead of CATL. And I know CATL is a big, 800-pound gorilla in the room, rolling, barrels of beer down a hill at a small Italian, William Lee. And he's trying to jump those barrels. But I think everybody has it wrong. I mean, bottom line, when it comes to battery swaps, CATL is playing catch up to Nio. People's like, well, CATL is going to put Nio out of business. Nio last month put 30,000 cars on the road, 31,000 cars plus on the road that are already swapping. Those 30,000 cars are going to swap 130, 140,000 times per month. Those 30,000 cars are going to swap whatever that would be, 1.7 million times a year, every month. And then next month, Nio is going to put 2 million, 2.5 million. They increase to 40,000 cars. They're going to be putting, 2.5, 3 million swaps, per year on the road every single month. That's why CATL jumped on this bandwagon. They see it. Deliveries are progressing, increasing linear, and swaps are increasing exponentially. because every single car you sell is swapping on average, 50 times, 60 times a year. And I know a lot of that is free right now, but they have to get it out there. They have to drive the scale. They have to be the one or two players that are there when this thing matures, the government mandates it, and those stocks that are there at the time just go absolutely insane. They're already doing the battery health checks. They're already doing a lot of these other things that companies cannot focus on, cannot even hold a candle to Nio. It's just completely nonsensical, this valuation, to me. To me. Now, to you, could make total sense. You could say, it's highly risky. What I'm looking at here is you can buy this stock for the same price it was at, back in 2020 or back in 2019. I guess this one went public, I don't know how long ago, back in 2018 or so. So it's basically at a lower price than it was then. It's at the same price that it was in 2020. So you've gone on this round trip, but they've taken out so much of the risk. You now have a defined path to profitability. You now have these three brands that are, I think, going to sell incredible. Onvo's already selling incredibly well. Onvo's really kicking the crap out of the Model Y in China. That's what, nobody's acknowledging here. And people talking about units delivered, Xpeng, Mona, they're not talking margins. Nio's going to have far better margins. They're covering the entire spectrum. I mean, that's why I said Nio's taking on everything from Rolls-Royce down to Mini. Look at, I invite you guys to watch this video. It's just a couple days ago, Electric Oracle, a lot of people have it, reviewing the Nio ET9 champagne test with Dr. Herbert Diess. Now, this guy was the CEO of Volkswagen, okay? And he is astonished by the suspension in the ET9. The most advanced suspension the Germans have adjusts every 60 milliseconds. So it adjusts the suspension like, 15, 20 times per second. The ET9 is adjusting in 1 millisecond. It adjusts its suspension 1,000 times per second. And this Dr. Herbert Diess said this test was completely impossible. But if you look, watch the video, he's driving like William Lee's actually getting scared. I mean, this guy, I think, is an automotive engineer or something. But anyway, doctor of whatever, I'm not sure. But my twin brother there, William Lee, is getting a little bit scared. But then when he actually sees the champagne test successful, he's completely shocked. This guy has a good channel. I just kind of found out about it. But, they drive through and they're driving over speed bumps on both tires without spilling champagne. And this is legit. This is legit. It's this guy who was this doctor CEO of VW said this is impossible. And it's right in front of your face. It's happening. It looks impossible to me. This looks like it absolutely has to be fake. But it's not. It's not. So, fundamentals of the company, reality of the company, doing more than almost any other EV company, years ahead of CATL and Swap, when CATL completely validates everything Nio has been doing and preaching for the last number of years. And everybody's looking at this like they're pricing the stock like it's about to go bankrupt. And they can raise money from these, foreign investors at very favorable terms anytime they want. They can get money from state governments, provincial governments in China anytime they want. The Chinese state is in the bag for Nio. Nio has passed its growing pains. You're past the pain. You're past most of the risk. Nio is going to be a player at the end. I'm quite sure of it. The evidence is in front of your face. What they're doing, the delivery growth. I mean, 31,000 cars. Deutsche Bank basically explains the why, but you can see the trajectory here overall. I mean, it's just, they've never been above low 20s, and here we are instantly low 30s, and that's thanks to Onvo. They can't keep these things in stock, and they're going to deliver even more Onvos next month and next month. And Nio management's telling you 20,000 Onvos by March. So assuming, 25,000 Nios, perhaps. That's going to be 45,000 deliveries in just 3 months. That'll be another 50% increase on top of what they're doing now. And a Nio vice president just came out and said, hey, when we reach profitability, it's going to be a lot faster than people think. And the ramp of profits is going to be much, much faster than people think. I think Nio has ace up their sleeve, rabbit in their hat, every other cliche you can come up with. I mean, have you seen another company where the CEO of VW is just standing here astonished by the engineering and technology that goes into the Nio ET9? This thing makes a Rolls-Royce look like a piece of shit in terms of technology. There's nothing like this. They do like 10 different things in this car that have never been done before. Look at the stock goat. Shout out to the stock goat. Banging on this turd, little Timmy Switzer from KBW. As he should. As he should. If you're not subscribed to the stock goat, you got shit for brains. So anyway, let me got my good friend Oleg Third Leg Alexandrov down there. How's it going, Oleg? Love to see you. Happy New Year. Thank you. Appreciate it, my good friend. We got Clap My Dog, and I kind of go in reverse order, but guys, this is just my opinion. I know, hey, you're just a, big fat trailer park looking idiot, and take my advice. It's worth exactly what you paid. Nothing. You got change coming. But this is the exact price where SoFi bottomed out, 4. And I'm saying this is absurd. This is absurd. This stock should not only be 10, it should be 12, it should be 15. DCF models saying a lot of people think it should be 28, 30. And yet market makers are saying 4. The Chia Pet's saying 4. The 5-headed bologna sandwich is saying 4. The Tiny Wang Parrot is saying 8. Little Timmy Switzer from My Chemical Romance, he's saying 8. And he upgraded from 7. But it's still worth half of what it is, It's an invitation. Yeah, Kyle's a really good guy, Clap My Dog. He's one of the guys that kind of inspired me to start my channel. I'm like, hey, regular guy, great channel, really enjoyable content. I thought, hey, it's like me, just thinner. I can do this. Let's see. Garbage. If I tear, it's going to be the next Tesla. I disagree. Let's see. It's very undervalued. 2026, they go into profit. Yeah, and Clap My Dog, if they're going to make a profit for the full year 2026, it's very possible they start making a profit toward the end of 2025. Once again, Oleg, thank you for checking in. Yeah, I'm running on home to get my Shine Box, Kramer. Believe me, I'm, made some money on SoFi, made a bunch of money on SMCI, lost a little bit of that money. And then, of course, Nio has just been hanging around down here with the dregs. But this is people like, aren't you mad they're holding it? No, I'm not. It's great. You got a stock worth 15, 20 bucks. You can buy here under $5. And market makers, they already know. It's just like SoFi. When they pushed that thing back down into the 6s the last time, they all knew it was complete bullshit. They just could scare a few weak-handed retarders out of the stock. Lower, cover, make money, kill a few more options. This stock is going to turn and burn, and they're going to shake as many of us out as they can. That's what I mean. There's too much information. It's just not working anymore. It's just not working anymore. Nobody's setting the stop losses at 440. Nobody's setting the stop loss at 450. They push it down to 439. Retail just buys all the shares. It's the same exact thing that's happening with SMCI. They think they're churning it, getting retail out. They're just doing a complete circle jerk, total sausage fest, big sword fight. There's only dudes in the room. It ain't ladies' night. They're selling shares to each other, manipulating the stock to kill calls. That's really what it comes down to for the most part. And they can do it because, retarders are buying so many short-dated calls, hoping that these delivery numbers are going to translate into a pop to $7. Of course, I'm hoping that too. A hope in one hand and pee in the other and see which fills up faster. Yep, I am on my way home right after this video to go get my Shine Box. Thank you. Let's see. Yep, Katie, they are bastards. I completely agree with you. We have kimchi bacon. Quantum, I haven't really got into studying it. Guys, I have been a little bit busy, so I haven't got into everything. What do you guys think about Unity? Roaring Kitty, Scooped Whispering Puppy, he's pumping Unity software, which has sort of been in the shit house for a long time. SoFi, it's okay, Clipgrid. That was just a completely pre-formatted attack. They had a number they were going to push it down to. They had a number of shares they were going to buy. They're going to kill a bunch of options. Different stuff's going to happen, but SoFi is absolutely fine. They're the strongest they've ever been. I took the opportunity to buy some shares around 1376, 1377, just happened to get lucky, got near the low of the day, but it could fall way further, guys. It shouldn't. Fundamentally, it certainly shouldn't, but it could. Clap my dog. Thanks for joining me, the great Carl Seamark. Free pizza for life. That's funny. No, I hate Domino's. I hate Domino's pizza. Ugh. Great stock. Best performing stock of my lifetime, pretty much. But hello and welcome. Welcome and hello, DVD. We got Clap my dog. I got Tesla. They replaced all swabbers. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems with fixed batteries. Swap solves everything. Swap solves everything. CATL realized. You think CATL doesn't know what they're doing and they're just pursuing some boondoggle that won't work? CATL is a bunch of idiots. That's how they became the biggest battery company in the world, running away with it. Yeah, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. Completely validated everything Nio's done. Where are all those experts? Swap won't work. Swap, never. F you guys. F you. Right here. Right here. Anzimar, SMCI. Guys, I can only make so many videos. I'm losing my freaking voice already, but I'll try. I was told if I make one more video, I will be stabbed in the eye with a chopstick. But I don't know if that threat will be followed through on. David Abbott-Bull. Abbott-Bull? David Abbott-Bull. Hi, David. We got the great Thomas Puzak. Hello and welcome, Thomas Puzak. David Addaball, Neil the 25. I hope so. Your lips to God's ears. T-Bill, every time I think it can't go lower, it does. Well, didn't go lower today. I mean, it was up, 20 cents. Popped up, I think, yeah. Oh, that's not the daily. I was like, yeah, it didn't actually go lower, though. Popped up to like 473, low of the day, 436. So right in the mid range. And if you really look at it, it was trading around 454. This area came down to 440 and then popped back up to 455. So it's not a bad day overall. It's definitely controlled, manipulated, et cetera, et cetera. But bottom line, a lot of people buying the stock, a lot of companies buying the stock. And that's what we want. We want the price to go up. We want buying pressure. We want these churners to get hurt. Basically, you have to pay to hold the stock down. The borrow fees on this stock are not particularly cheap. Cost to borrow average 3.69, max 5.48, and min was 0.35, which again, that's another part of the manipulation. They're, paying people to short the stock a lot of days. But anyway, this thing to me, if you just look at some reasonable price to sales, 2.5 even, you're talking about the stock should be 12, 13, whatever it is. I'm looking at this, I'm saying it's priced for a company that is dying, going out of business. And then you look at the reality is they're growing rapidly. They're hitting on all cylinders. They're doing a bunch of different things nobody else can do. And they're absolutely knocking the ball out of the ballpark while the stock just gets crushed and stepped on every single day. And that's when you want to buy. That's opportunity. That's opportunity knocking on wood, guys. You're going to answer the door. You're going to stand there with a pud in your hand like a schmuck and not make any money. It's a Nio Stock, guys. Ticker symbol is NIO. It is Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. Thank you for watching. That's it. Go away.